This for this for today's webinar is pretty much about the OEE itself. So if you haven't heard of the OEE, well, this OEE is a metric that a lot of the big manufacturers using as a metric to check uh, their efficiency in the production line. So that's what it is. I mean, it's a metric to measure the efficiency for each of the production line. So the acronym of the OEE itself is overall equipment effectiveness, and basically it's trying to measure how efficient you are in producing your products in a production line involving your manpower, your machines, and the material itself. So that's what that OE does. It's a metric in percentage. So, well, you see, if you have a production line and then the OEE says 85%. So the meaning of the 85% is you're producing 85% of what is supposed to be of 100%, and then 85% can be sold. So to your customers that meeting your requirement. That's what it really means. So if you have a production line that says showing up as a, let's say, 30%, so basically you are only producing a product that meeting the customer's requirement only 30% of the time. So let's say if you're measuring for 1 week, it's probably you is producing like only 2 days that really meeting customers' requirement. So that's basically it on this OEE. But more importantly, a lot of manufacturers, especially the SMEs, small and medium enterprises, they don't really know, or they don't really expose to this kind of metric. Usually, it's big companies who has the manpower, enough manpower to run this kind of programs, and then the hardware to install, and then enough manpower, let's say the operator of the machines that can do the data collections for your system, your program, basically. So it takes a lot of efforts to get it running and keep it sustainable. That's what that basically is. All right. If you have any questions, just let me know. I mean, I can answer it. It's gonna be a light discussion. It's not that much really. It's just an introduction, just an overview of the OEEs and how we implement it in your production system, in your production line, and then is it uh can the OEE fit in your production system? That's what it is. All right. Anyway,
I,
let
I
me
just
continue.
yeah, I just have a comment here. I don't know if
Yeah.
you have a slide. I can see you, but I don't see a slide. If you
No,
have,
no, no. I haven't done
oh,
any slide yet.
sure,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'll show it right now, actually.
Sure, thank you.
All right. All right. I'll share some slide here right now. So this is the slide that I've been using for the last 2 years. A lot of my training involve like probably like more than half of my trainings is involved OEE topic, because it's now basically it's my job to share. I mean to share this OEE knowledge to factories around Malaysia, especially for the small and medium enterprises, small factories, basically doing probably like 20 million, 30 million ringgit in revenue. So we're talking about, let's say, 30 people, 40 people in the factory. That's what it is. All right. Anyway, I introduce a bit about the OEE not just now. So why do you want to have this OEE in your factory? There's a lot of benefits using OEE in this as a metric in your production line. First of all, the main one is for your benchmarking, which is you're trying to compare your own factory or to your own production line with another the same production line. So if trying, let's say, if you have one production line one doing, let's say, 65% of OEE, and then you have another a few more production, the same production line doing, let's say, 30% or 40%. From there, you know that how what exactly is happening, and you know already what's the problem that the other line's been having really. So that's a most important thing. And then the second one is the KPI. This KPI we use more some companies they use KPI for as they use OEE as a KPI for their own department or their whole company is possible. KPI meaning a key performance indicator, which is a metric also that being used for to measure employees performance. So from there, let's say at the end of the year you have a target for, let's say, you have to have the 75% to get the bonuses or your increment on your salary. That's what they use it. Some companies they do use it, but there are some uh let's say a good and bad effect if you're using OEE as a KPI for your company, for your individual measurement. Because if you do have the OEE but using the data collection in manual form, it's not really recommended unless you use the OEE data collection using automated a system which is not being touched by there is no intervention by human. It's just that it's a good way to use the OEE as a KPI. That's one way to see it. And then, of course, the OEE, we use it as a benchmark, as a number, as a metric for your continuous improvement because a lot of data from there, you use the OEE as a justification to increase your OEE. If you increase your OEE, you will also increase your production, your efficiency, and then your quality, all that stuff. So this is a continuous improvement culture that you want to develop in your factory. That's what it is. Competitive advantage, another one of the benefit, because if you are producing faster, you have less wastage, which is less cost. You can produce cheaper than your own competitor. They're going to be a advantage to you, to your rival, and then you can produce it faster. That's going to be an advantage to you, and then also of course, less cost, the cheaper. That's the competitive advantage. But nowadays, your customers, they pretty much don't really want defective product for coming from your factory. Of course, they want it faster. And then at the same time, one of the biggest benefit when you do OEE, you produce it faster, less cost, is your cash flow for your factory is a much better than your competitor, and then it's beneficial I mean, you have a financial strength than your competitor. That's gonna be a big advantage to you than your rival. And the last part is the decision making. This is very good in terms of your production in your operation, because you can see small factories, especially like medium enterprises, they usually do a lot of assumptions when they are making decisions. That's what's happening. I've been doing a lot of trainings to a lot of factories around Malaysia, and decision making, usually they all these bosses, managers, they don't have enough data to make a good decision, and then whatever they're doing is based on just assumptions and based on whatever the knowledge that they know. But if you do have this OEE system in your factory, you can use your decision based on the data that you are collecting, and then you can justify it and based on OEE itself. I'll give you some example for this in terms of decision making. There's one company in Malaysia. They don't have the OEE system before, and then somehow the management decided to buy another machines because they think that the product have a high demand, and they think that they should buy another machine. But when we ask them why is it they decided to buy the new machines, because they think that the demand is high, and then there is no enough the capacity of the machine right now is not really fitting the meeting the requirement for the demand. So but the thing is, they don't have the data to justify it. And then when we trying to get some more information, and they said that they only running on 10-hour shift, and then it's only like 5 days a week. So 10-hour shift, and then 5 days a week, and then you don't know how well your production line is, how efficient is your production line. So there is no justification on why you want to buy another machine because of the demand that they feel that they have right now. So this I mean, by default, I mean, you as an engineer or you as a manager, you can do if you do have some data to back it up, then it's better decision making. But if you don't, make sure you collect some data first, or at least you can run on a 2 hours, two shifts. I mean, like running 24/7, or you can run on the weekends, rather than spending millions to buy another machines to meeting your demand. That's what basically is. So OEE is very powerful in helping you to make your decisions for your operations. All right. So if you have any questions, do let me know. I'm just trying to get up to speed, but because I don't have much time for this, but try to compact it as much as possible in this. This is an overview. So if you don't understand, so just let me know. But the thing is, I mean,
Okay,
if you
yeah, just have a quick question that maybe you somehow explained that, but if you can just give some ideas of with what stage of OEE manufacturers has the biggest issue. Maybe installation, maybe with data collection, maybe with people's engagement, or maybe
right.
just understanding the KPI. What's the biggest challenges in the
Well,
manufacturing?
in this system, if you're trying to install the OEE system in your factory, basically it's the manpower. Basically, that's the issue here, because people don't really see this OEE as beneficial to your manpower, especially the operators. And then if you guys are using it on a manual basis, I mean, yeah, you guys logging the data on a piece of paper every time there's a stoppage, or minor stoppages or big stoppages or any maintenance doing during the production. and then they have to write it down. So that's going to be the biggest issue, because they think that this thing is a waste of time and then going to be an extra work for them. So for us, as let's say, if you're in the production, you are a manager or you are the owner of the factory, you have to explain to them what's the benefit, and then you have to sell the ideas that this thing will improve your operation and make more profit to the company, and then by making more money for the company, more profitable, and then they come back to the employees itself. That's the idea on this. That's the biggest challenge. The second biggest challenge is probably uh of course, the cost of installing. If you are decided doing the digital form of the data collection, you have to do some changes on your machine because of you need the sensors, and then of course you have to do the training, and then you have to have the consultant, you have to have the installer, and then there are a bunch of machines out there that can do the calculation and capture all the data in the digital form and in real time, but it costs you a lot of money. It's still uh let's say quite expensive for small companies. Basically, that's some of the biggest challenge. So here I'm trying to just give some a way of a calculation on the OEE. OEE comes in a three parts of the calculation. It comes with the availability, multiplied by the performance, and multiplied by the quality. This is three factors that contribute to the OEE punya calculations. Availability is the how much time that the machine is available and is running. That's the availability. Let's say if you're running 10 hours and then the machine itself running for 8 hours of the 10 hours, that's probably 80%. That's 80% of the time. If the performance is, let's say you have the cycle time per hour, let's say 10 pieces per hour, but your productions is running only at 5 pieces per hour, that's probably like 70% of your performance. And the quality is the amount of quantity of rejects. So basically, if you're producing 100 pieces in one shift, and then 10 of them is rejects, so basically your quality rate is at 90%. And then if you multiply all these three factors, you will get your OE. It's a very simple calculation basically. So if you multiply, let's say availability is, let's say, 80%, performance is 90%, quality is 90%, so you will get somewhere around like 70%, 75%, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the idea on this. So but even though it's simple, but to implement it, it will take a few more a lot of efforts to do it. All right, this is basically it, the chart. So you have the availability, the production available time, divided by your production time, which is the actual production, and then you have the performance, which is the capacity of your machines, which is, let's say, your cycle time supposedly is standard 10 pieces per hour, and then your actual one is the whatever the actual thing, and then the quality, of course, the rejects. And from here you can see all the red things, the red boxes is the wastage. If you're doing the setup, is the wastage on it. If the operator's waiting on it, and then you have the minor stoppages, and then all these rejects. So in a way, OEE is a way to see, make it visible that all the wastages here is transparent to everybody. So let's say if you have the OEE for, let's say, 50%, so you are seeing that is 50% of your production time is a waste. So from there you can see there's a lot of wastages that you can improve. Try to eliminate your wastage, or you can try to reduce it, or try to eliminate it completely during a lot of RCA tools like YY, FMEA, fault tree analysis, Ishikawa. And then you trying to give your that projects to your engineers to reduce it. So to ensure that your OEE gonna increase after some time. That's what it is. Um, that's the idea on this OEE system. Basically, is that it's not that much on the concept itself, but in terms of how to implement it will take some time in terms of try to train your operators to key in the data if you're doing it manually, uh, and then uh, and then the engineer usually will keep track of all the data and then try to summarize it in few days to see what kind of OEE for the last few days. So from there you can see that, all right, your availability is 70%, your quality reduced to, let's say, 70% or 50%. So this data is beneficial for your operation to maximize, to optimize your production line. That's what it is. So there are a few more, but we are a bit short of time. So this is basically the six big losses that we're trying to reduce or eliminate. So from here you can see the unplanned stop, like breakdowns, planned stop, like changeover or setup time, waiting for small stops, and then you have the rejects. If you yeah, the idea here to make it visible for everybody, for the engineers, for the operation to see, and trying to reduce, to trying to eliminate all this wastages in your operation. So that's basically it. If you have any questions, Dante, I guess Dante, you are familiar with this concept, I guess. Here
Yes,
is
I am.
you're okay, all right. Yeah, six. Yeah, this is a bit more detail on on the events that happening during the productions. We can use this as a base of data collection. If let's say you have a 5 minutes breakdown in your machines, and then you can capture it by a bit more detail in terms of how you want to capture. Let's say in the breakdown, the left side is see, you can see like tooling failure or unplanned breakdown maintenance or machine failure. If you have a small stop, let's say uh with usually for small stop, we try to classify it as the stop, the machine stop without the intervention from the maintenance people. That's what we consider as a small stop. Let's say for this, the next one is like reduce speed. So basically you are running not to an optimum level of the machine capacity. So that's what it is. Usually you are capturing this by the quantity that you guys producing, or if you are doing it digitally, you can capture it from your system itself on the machine. Let's say you can capture it from your PLC system, so you can see how much speed you can capture. So and then of course the scrap, and then the rejects. So that's what the events looks like on this big losses or the wastages. So you can see here all these things is all this six big losses is the wastages that you trying to reduce or trying to eliminate, and try not to the engineers or in the operation try to not repeat it again in the future. That's what it is make it visible for everybody, so your bosses will see it, your engineers or your operators, your supervisors will see everything here. And then usually the OE numbers or the chart for the OEE, you try to make it you put it on a like A3 chart, and then put it in the back of your production line, so everybody will see it. And then whenever you do a gemba walk with your managers around the factory, we'll see, oh, this machine for the last few weeks, for the last few days, you have this OEE number, so everybody can see that what kind of improvement or how the machine and the production is behaving. That's the idea on this. So for some, this is basically the idea on the baseline basically. The OEE score. 85% is considered world class. Like manufacturing for the power cables, last time is very slow. The OEE probably like around 30% or something for the power cables. That's because it's a heavy industry. But for semiconductor companies, usually they go for around 85%, even 90%. That's considered world class already because there's a lot, very less, let's say, stoppages. They keep running all the time as fast as possible. Right. There are a few things that in the events that is not calculated. So it's this. I'll share this slides with you guys. See if you want to use it for future reference. You can contact me later on if you're interested in more details on this. So this is basically some of the data collection form you can use in if you're using as a manual data collection with the operator or the line leaders capturing all the data. I mean, in terms of the uh, time that's spent in the production. These are some of the sample you can use. All right. I think we got a few minutes left. Well, I think we're gonna stop here. This is one of the dashboard for that we use in the factories. There are a bunch of them, a bunch of system out in the market that looks like this. So this is where you can see the whole idea on the OEE. You get the availability, performance, and the quality, and the OEE itself. All right. I think that's it. So this is some of the challenges. Like I said, manufacture manpower. I mean, it's a bit technical, and then the cost itself, and then is it sustainable for you guys to make it sustainable? I'll give it to Dante back. So thank you so much for listening to me. Back to you, Dante.
Okay. Thank you very much, Husni, for showing this presentation. Was great ideas shared in this presentation. Just basically, I would like to know if someone is interested to contact to you, how is possible to reach out to you?
Yeah, well, you can well, I can share in the messages on I mean on you can contact me on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn. I have my LinkedIn profile, Husni Halim, on the Kaizen coaching, or you can just
Mhm.
email me. I'll send the email through Mr. Dante, and then Dante will share it with you guys. So I think that's perfect. Thank you,
Sure,
Dante, for
sure.
having me today.
Thanks a lot,
Hopefully
Husni, for
everything's
sharing such a
clear.
great knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very clear. Yeah, appreciate that a lot. Yeah, thank you very much, Husni, and have a
Thank
great
you.
day. Yeah,
Thank you,
thank
Dante.
you.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
Eva.